So there's this interview going around with this woman that was interviewed on Diary of a CEO that's helped build the Kardashian brands. And something that she mentioned on the interview was talking about how she just made some mistakes and things that she would change with the information that she knows now if she was able to go back then. And one of the things that she said was that she remained too loyal to people and that she should have actually let people go sooner in order to scale the team faster. She also mentioned how, in order to be very successful, that one does not need work-life balance. If anything, that's hindering your growth and success, and that ideally you would be working like 80 hours a week. And it really had me just kind of thinking about like how I want to show up as a leader, a founder, a CEO, and how I want to define my own company culture. I will say, on one token, that there's not many women, and there's not, especially not many Black women in those kinds of spaces and at that caliber. However, I do think that it's not the only approach, and I viscerally disagree with the way and the knowledge that she shared on that interview. I have the belief that it is certainly one way, but it's not the only way. And it had me thinking about, like, me personally, I actually do believe in loyalty. I believe in loyalty to your employees, I believe loyalty in your relationships. And I also believe in being realistic about certain expectations that you have of your colleagues, of your employees, and how that fits into their lives in the broader scheme of their day and of their livelihood. I think we're suffering this kind of crisis of there's so many CEOs where they're super disconnected because they're so wildly successful. And then they kind of wonder why no one wants to like clock in or open up their laptop, and everyone's very apathetic to working nowadays. Nobody wants to get up and work anymore. But for me, when I think about how I want to run a company and how I want to run my future business ventures, I will fully recognize the fact that work is literally a sliver of your day. It is not everything to most people. It is something that, they need to do in an ideal, perfect world. Like, we wouldn't have to, but we live in a very capitalist society. So people do need to work. And we need to recognize that it is truly not everything to most people. Like, come on. But I think as leaders, it's really on us to really be responsible for shaping company culture and pride, and to develop policies where we actually empower and uplift and support employees. And part of that is actually recognizing that in order to have a more inclusive work environment and to have a more happier workforce in general, is to really just ideally just try your best to make it a very healthy, balanced work life. People do not just have a job to clock into. People have families. They have other financial obligations. They have like things that to do that just make them happy because they have a very well-rounded, fulfilled life. And when you try to make work their only priority in life and then turn around and wonder like why people are upset, why people don't want to be around the office, why people don't care about anything that they really do, and then you have worse outcomes or what one would argue subpar outcomes, and then you layer on top of that you're not really loyal to those people. Like, I can see why like no one would want to stay there and no one would want to work with said company or individual. It's expected of anyone that is building something from the ground up or just founding a company or working in C-suite, like, yes, yeah, it's most likely going to be 80 to 100-hour work weeks. But I think we all go into that knowing that that's very likely what's going to happen. But I also think that a lot of people in that kind of position are built with a very, very different personality in mind. And most people are not built like that. And that's like totally fine. I think we should stop living in this delusion that like most people want to subscribe to the grind and have all this ambition and like, just really want to sacrifice everything to uphold shareholder value. But I think the better approach is recognizing that most people have things going on in their lives, and also be able to use our company resources to the best of our abilities to support them. Like, I saw the Cakes company was able to pay for childcare for employees with children under the age of 5, I believe. and also allocate resources to encourage our employees to, use it for learning development. Because I've already recognized that if you're a fantastic employee, if you're an ambitious person, like, it doesn't really matter what I'll do. The best I can do is support you while you work like with me, and make sure that I set you up for success in whatever you choose to pursue after me. And hopefully taking more initiatives that are more community focused and community oriented, and making sure that your employees are actually happy and recognizing reality for what it is and not what you want it to be, will actually make for better outcomes while they're employed at your company, and honestly maintain good positive relationships. Because someone once told me this when I was an intern, and it is certainly true. You should be nice to everyone from the janitor to the president or the CEO, because you quite literally never know where they may wind up. And people don't forget the way that you treat them.